Being a single parent is twice the work, twice the stress, and twice the tears, but also twice the hugs, twice the love, and twice the pride. Being raised by a single mother myself, I've come to learn to appreciate and value independent women. Today, I share with you an interview with Jodiann Robinson, a Jamaican mom living in Japan. Hello, Jodiann.
Hey, Miss Sandrine, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
When did you come to Japan?
I arrived in Japan in 2016, January to be exact, in the heart of the winter season.
So how long have you been here?
I've been here for, this January is going to be 5 years. Japan.
How's your experience been?
It has been good overall, I will say. I have grown both as a person and as a professional, and I'm really happy that I made the choice to move to Japan and teach here. And unexpectedly, I also came here and I had a little girl. I had a daughter here.
Whoa!
Yes.
So let's get into the meat of the matter. Okay.
Yes.
When you found out you were pregnant, what was your initial reaction?
Initially, I was quite disappointed, and I was also angry with myself because I was not married. That's the first thing. I'm a Christian, and that's having a child out of wedlock and so on. That didn't really sit so well with me, but I mean, in real life, you're a human being and things happen, And secondly, Asia's dad and I, we did not have the most healthy relationship, so that made me a little bit disappointed because I wasn't sure, how everything would work out, but I did hope for the best. I am a very positive person and I try to make the best out of different situations, and I just hope for the best.
Okay. So you found out that you were pregnant, and as you know, a pregnancy lasts for 9 months.
Yes.
Or about 10. They say it's 9, but it's really 10.
Some persons say that it's 10, right? A lot of persons always say 10 and not 9.
How was your pregnancy?
My pregnancy was a good one. It was really beautiful. Minus the morning sickness and all of those things that comes along with a pregnancy, but overall, just the unison between my daughter's dad and I at that time was really good. Our experience as well with the Japanese doctors and so on, the midwives, etc. And a few of our Japanese friends who helped us along in every step of the process. It was really a good experience, I will say, and I'm really grateful as well. I'm grateful that he was there to go through this process with me, to support me as best as possible, and for us to be supporting each other. It was really good.
The idea of giving birth here in Japan must have been a scary one. So what was it like delivering in a Japanese hospital?
Wow. It was quite nerve-wracking, to say the very least, but the professionalism displayed by the Japanese staff continuously reassured us, and the effort that was made as well. I requested to have English speaking surgeons and so on during the delivery, and they met all my requests, and I'm most grateful for that. Sometimes you have different people, different expats in the world having children and so on. They have bad experience or they have a negative experience, and I was blessed enough to have a very positive experience, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful to be able to say that I had a positive experience. Everything that was done, I think Japanese people on the whole are very meticulous and organized and so on, and very formal. So the entire pregnancy, each step, I'm not sure if persons are aware of it, but from the very day that you find out that you're pregnant, you're expected within a 2-week or 3-week period to within a 2-week or 3-week period to go to register at a hospital, and also to register your room, and also, you know, to do all the paperwork. And so you start doing the paperwork there, and then the paperwork isn't done when it's time to have the baby. The paperwork is done the very moment you find out that you're pregnant. So that level of organization worked very well, you know, and each step there was somebody to help us each step of the way.
Was it expensive though?
In terms of expenses, I will say two things. In comparison to the Western countries, it is cheaper. And this is how I feel personally. This is a personal answer. It is cheaper in comparison to the Western world. Also, again, I will speak about myself and my daughter's dad. We budgeted monthly. And because we worked together in all aspects during that time, it worked out well for us. We budgeted every step of the way. The third thing I want to mention is that we had so many family and friends around the world who wanted to purchase things for our daughter. So we really listed strategically the things that we wanted to be gifted so that we could take that financial burden away from ourselves. So you have to be very strategic as well when you're going to become parents. And people will offer to help you, accept the help.
I am listening to your experience, and I must say that it is vastly different from my experience having given birth in our home country of Jamaica. The professionalism, the way things are done, you giving your request to have a particular doctor, and things of that nature that if you're from the lower economic class in Jamaica, that does not exist.
That does not apply to you.
But coming to Japan, you experienced all of this convenience,
yes,
you know, of giving birth.
And comfort. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Miss Sandrine, but you are allowed, when you give birth, you're allowed to stay in the hospital for up to 8 days.
In Jamaica, as soon as
Yes,
the baby is out?
Not just Jamaica, but in other Caribbean islands as well, and also in other parts, in the States and so on. You know, so it's different. That experience for me, I remember staying in the hospital with my mother when she had my brother, and I think probably the next day.
Where was this?
After this was in Florida, to be exact, in Miami, and she had she was dispatched from the hospital like probably the next day.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was in the hospital with her. I stayed here, and soon as the baby came out, time to go. Japanese hospitals, and the Japanese culture is different, you know, in terms of hospitality, as you know, and the hospitals are also different. And I gave birth at a public hospital. This was not even one of the top private hospitals, you know, so I could only imagine what if I had such a good experience here. I can imagine the experience I would have had there, because I gave birth in Shibuya Red Cross, and they also had a, let's say, a self-care room for mothers where you could get a foot massage, a back massage, and so on. Yes. Yes, I will show you the pictures later.
Wow.
However, I did not find out about this area of the hospital until probably 2 days before I was dispatched. But what I did, I was able to go there sometimes and rest though before for that short time that I found out.
That sounds amazing.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And this is a public hospital. I didn't give birth in a private hospital here, so I could have only imagined what the private hospital would have been like.
All right, so I've had the opportunity to engage with you and your daughter, and one thing is abundantly clear, is that you are doing this journey of motherhood alone.
Yes.
How did you become a single mother?
All right, so you know, initially we started off together and such, and as I said, things were not always perfect, and I expected that things would have gotten better, but things did not seem to be getting better, and so on. And I made a decision for everybody. I made a decision that I wanted to raise my daughter. I wanted my daughter to be raised in a more healthier environment and a more positive space, and if it meant that I was going to do it alone, or at least be separated, I didn't expect to do it alone, you know. if it meant that I had to separate myself from the space and so on and from my partner at the time, I was determined to do what had to be done so that I could have a healthier space and my daughter could have a healthier space as well. Okay. So that is how I made the decision to separate. And I knew that this is something that I would now have to take on.
The brunt of the burden would then become yours.
Yes, I knew that.
Okay, so you stepped into this role being informed, all right, as well as you wanted to, you were doing it for yourself as well as for your daughter from a place of mental peace and just growth.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So walk us through a typical day with your daughter.
Wow. All right, so I'm a Christian, as you know, Sandrine, and my day normally starts, I'm a morning person as well, so I get up sometimes, let's say 5 or 6.
I know.
5 or 6 a.m. and I start by having, my devotion by myself, because I like to be in my own space and, get my mindset ready to take on the day, to take on the week, to just take on the season. And I mean, what better way to do that than through prayer, So I pray, get up, I pray, I start cooking in the kitchen and so on. I prepare Asia's bottle so that by the time she gets up, she has her bottle, she's a little bit fussy, she's hungry. So I prepare for all of that in advance. Her bags and so on for school, that's prepared from the night before. Before she gets up, I walk. I'm a pedestrian, as you know, so I have to run downstairs before she gets up to get the stroller ready and to get her bags downstairs as well, because it's really challenging to take her and the bags downstairs. I take the bags downstairs, I run back upstairs, start to get the breakfast together, and before you can say, oh, that Asia is up and running. When she gets up, the rhythm changes a bit because she wants some attention. She also sometimes wants to join in the cooking, and I really don't like having her too much in the kitchen as yet. She's not at that age where she's responsible enough not to touch and, taste and such. So sometimes she's here in our living room just watching something or playing a game or reading one of her books, and after that we eat, we get ready, we're up and out on the road. I take her to school, I head to work for over 6 hours. I'm a kindergarten. I walk. I walk. I'm not too far from work, which is good, but probably the only extension in the mornings. The most challenging parts of the morning is that I have to take her way down, past my workplace, couple blocks down, and then I have to return and get to work. So that's a bit challenging in the morning. If it's just me and I'm going to work is like a couple minutes away.
Alright, so earlier you mentioned that Fukushima is known for snow.
Wow.
How do you manage during the winter time alone with her and the stroller and the bags?
Sometimes I take a taxi because I have to, because with the thickness of the snow outside, and even though I have a winter stroller for her and a cover for the stroller as well, but sometimes that just cannot do because snow is snow, and sometimes you just have to have a vehicle. I also don't drive, so that's another thing. So sometimes I get the cab, I reserve a taxi, the taxi company knows me by now, or sometimes I have a close friend or two who will give me a drive. I can call and say, I need a ride to school with Asia, etc., etc. I need to pick up Asia, and they'll come in and help as best as they can. One of my co-workers does not live too far off, so she normally offers a ride when it's rainy or sometimes when it's snowy, which is really important because you know that I'm in a foreign country by myself, and it's just me and my daughter, so it's important for you to have close friends and so on that can help you or support you as best as possible. Something that a program as well that the Japanese offer, for those who might not know or need to know, or if you're a mom or you're planning to come here and you're a single mother, they offer a family helps. There's a family help service for single parents where you can have someone arrange for someone actually to pick up your daughter or your son and take them either to your workplace or take them to your home, and they will stay with them there, take care of them. It comes with a charge, but it's not expensive. I think it's affordable
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I learned about it because, you know, I was considering different ways in which I could get support because it's just me. So, yeah.
Alright. It's good to have that community around us.
It is very
as a
necessary to have a community.
Alright. So, you're an English teacher for preschool children here. How do you think that has helped you in your role as a mother?
Alright, so it has made me more patient and more understanding. I actually started to teach preschoolers since being in Jamaica, but it was only seasonal in terms of I did summer school and I did theater with children in December. There are different schools in Kingston where I did their Christmas plays annually. Coming to Japan, I've been spending every day teaching preschoolers, so I'm now able to understand certain signs or certain behaviors and such, and I've developed much more patience. So now that my daughter has come along, I know how to move in certain ways.
Okay, good. Earlier you mentioned that you have a background in theatre.
Yes, I do.
You also created a channel dedicated to Jamaican folklore.
Yes.
And you also do virtual play dates for toddlers. Do you think your role as a mother pushed you into this direction? And has it helped you in being a good mother?
Yes, I will say yes. Yes, and probably no, in the sense where even if I didn't have a child of my own, I would still want to do that because I've been working with children. I want to work with children forever. I want to provide a positive space for children, and I will say yes because now that I have Asia and I've been doing things with her and so on at each step of the way, I've realized that there's so many mothers out there that would love for somebody to help them as well. So I would also say that having her has probably solidified my purpose as an early childhood resource person.
All right, nice. So you mentioned your purpose, and having had your daughter has also helped your purpose as well. What advice would you give to potential parents?
My advice, I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to be very transparent with you if you're listening or watching this video right now. If you can avoid becoming a single parent, avoid it. It is the most challenging role I've ever taken on, and it's not something that I want to do in another life or I want to experience again. Ensure it is important to have relationships that are healthy, that are honest, and that are solid before going ahead and having children. If a child comes into play and the parents do decide to separate, nothing is wrong with that because real life happens and people change and seasons change as well. Please ensure that both parents remain consistent in the child's life. And I don't just mean paying for something or buying something. I mean being present for your child, because that makes a big difference. The father has a role to play and the mother has a role to play. The father cannot be the mother and the mother cannot be the father. Also, as a single person, you need, as a parent or as a single mother or as a parent overall, you need a support system. You're a human being, as strong as you might be. I'm considered, a lot of people consider me a very strong and positive young lady.
You are.
And I also consider myself that way. But in reality, I'm also a human being. I feel, I think, I have my days as well. And I need people around me as well to lift me up and to motivate me in whatever way and to encourage and educate me as best as possible. So a support system is necessary. And as I mentioned before, if you can avoid becoming a single parent, man or woman, avoid it. Both parents and a household and a family is necessary.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Jodiann, for coming on my program.
Thank you for having me.
The information that you've shared this afternoon has been very insightful, and I am 100% positive that there is a young woman who's a single mother or a young man who's a single father will find this information helpful, as well as others who are not yet parents, who it will help them to better prepare for that journey.
They should. I think it's something that you should prepare yourself for when you're having a child. You should. I heard my uncle say something one time, and no, at this age I agree. Don't have sex with somebody who you don't want to keep around in your life for the rest of your life.
Amen to that.
Because when a child gets involved, this person is always going to be in your life, whether or not you want them to be. You don't have a choice anymore. This is something you can't erase it or send it back or you can't take it back to the store. This is with you for the rest of your life. So to the young men as well, it's very important. We don't talk about this enough in our society, especially as black people. To the young men who are just going around and sleeping with different girls and stuff like that, stop it. If these are girls that you don't have any long-term vision for, you don't want to be around them long-term, and young ladies as well, if this is a gentleman that you don't see anything with, don't avoid the whole thing. Just avoid it. Alright? Avoid it.
Alright. So, in closing, we usually say, please to remember to leave a like.
So, in closing, let me close the right way for Miss Sandrine. Alright, people, in real Jamaican style now. If you don't like what you see a while ago, like what you hear, remember if you like this, comment on it, share with a friend, share with a neighbor. Yes, man, tell everybody, and subscribe down below. Until we meet again, wa code.